Right now, something extraordinary is happening in the world, and most people still haven't fully processed it. Canada has become the front line of global resistance. Not in theory, not in rhetoric, in reality. Because while Donald Trump and his regime are openly pushing a new era of imperial power, intimidation, and gangster-style foreign policy, Canada is doing something no one expected. Canada is standing up, and it's not doing it quietly. Over the last 48 hours, the pattern has become impossible to ignore. Trump threatens Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, floating military force and invasion as if international law were a joke. And within hours, Canada's Prime Minister is standing shoulder to shoulder with Denmark's leader, making one thing crystal clear. Sovereignty matters, borders matter, and no country gets to be bullied into submission. That wasn't a photo op, that was a message. A message to Europe, a message to NATO, a message to Washington. Canada will not accept a world ruled by threats and shakedowns. Look at what happened with Ukraine. Trump attacked Zelensky, tried to humiliate him, tried to drag him into private meetings designed to extract concessions for Putin. And what did Canada do? Canada met with Zelensky first. Canada gave him respect. Canada showed the world that Ukraine is not alone. Every time Trump escalates, Canada responds, not with fear, not with submission, but with solidarity. And that is why Canada is now the leader of the free world, because the free world is no longer being led by the United States. What Trump represents is not traditional conservatism. It is not even nationalism. What he represents is something far darker, gangster fascism. A system where power comes from intimidation, where foreign policy becomes extortion, where countries are treated like rackets to be shaken down for oil, land, or political obedience. You saw it in Venezuela. Trump didn't care about democracy, he cared about oil. He sent a message, I can take whatever I want, whenever I want, and no one can stop me. That message wasn't just for Venezuela, it was for Canada, it was for Europe, it was for the entire world. Because when Trump talks about securing borders and weapons of mass destruction, he's using the same coded language that has always been used to justify invasion. First, you invent a threat. Then you use that threat as an excuse to take what you want. And he's already been doing it to Canada. Fentanyl, terrorists, criminal gangs. The narrative is fake, but the purpose is real. It's the same script every empire has used before it moves. And here's what Trump didn't expect. Canada didn't blink. For decades, Canada would have tried to smooth things over. Quiet diplomacy, careful language, endless compromise. But Trump destroyed that option. He ridiculed Canada. He mocked Canada. He tried to humiliate Canada. And in doing so, he awakened something powerful, Canadian resistance. Canadians now understand exactly what this is. Not a trade dispute, not political drama, a threat to national survival, a threat to sovereignty. That's why you're seeing something unprecedented. Canada is building alliances, not just with Europe, but with the entire democratic world. Denmark, Ukraine, the Baltics, NATO partners, global coalitions. While Trump burns bridges, Canada is building them. While Trump threatens invasion, Canada speaks the language of law. While Trump shouts, Canada organizes. And this is where the story becomes bigger than any one country, because Trump's gangster politics are forcing everyone to choose. You either stand together or you get picked off one by one. Europe can no longer pretend this is just American chaos. Greenland is a NATO ally. Denmark is a NATO ally. Ukraine is fighting for the same international system that keeps small nations from being crushed by big ones. And Canada understands something fundamental. If gangster politics wins, no border is safe. That's why Canada is now the lynchpin, just as Winston Churchill once said, the bridge between Europe and the New World, the connector between alliances, the stabilizing force when the largest player becomes the most dangerous. And this isn't symbolic. Canada is increasing defense cooperation. Canada is strengthening Arctic security. Canada is preparing civilian and volunteer forces. Canada is acting like a country that knows history is repeating itself. Because history always starts this way, with one regime deciding it is above the law, with one leader believing he can take whatever he wants, with one country thinking its power makes it untouchable, and then the world either submits or it resists. That is the moment we are in. Trump believes fear will win. Canada is proving that courage will. This is not about left versus right. This is about law versus lawlessness, democracy versus extortion, civilization versus gangster rule. And here is what Trump miscalculated. You can bully one country, you can bully two, but you cannot bully the entire world. By attacking Venezuela, he alienated Latin America. By threatening Greenland, he awakened Europe. By targeting Canada, he created a global rallying point. The more he pushes, the more resistance grows. That is why this moment matters, because Canada is showing everyone else how to stand up, not with bombs, not with threats, but with alliances, law, and unity. And make no mistake, this will not be easy. There will be pressure, there will be economic attacks, there will be disinformation and intimidation. But Canada is not breaking, not now, not ever. Because the world is watching, and history is being written. And for the first time in a long time, the voice of freedom is not coming from Washington, it's coming from Ottawa. And that voice is saying something very simple. We will not be ruled by fear. We will not surrender our sovereignty. We will not bow to gangster fascism. We will stand, together, strong, free, unbreakable. And that is how the free world survives.